company have surveyed thousands of employees over the last couple of months and found that only half believe that their current employer deserves their loyalty. And when that's the case, those are the same employees dealing with customers every day, and that destroys customer loyalty. So who's going to get burned? Customers, employees, and eventually investors.
Fred Reichheld. Loyalty rules. Leaders, employees, customers. Dubbed the High Priest of Loyalty by The Economist and considered the expert in the field of business loyalty. Fred Reichheld's 2 best-selling books have been translated into 15 languages. His numerous articles on loyalty appear in prestigious publications around the world. He has identified the core business principles that take companies beyond satisfaction, all the way to loyalty.
What do the loyalty leaders do to earn this level of loyalty? 75, 80%? The vast majority. And the people who don't say they're loyal are agnostics. Very few disagree. They're just waiting to see. It's all about leadership. I got a group of loyalty leader CEOs together and tried to figure out what it was they did differently that would earn outstanding levels, leadership loyalty levels in their industry. And I couldn't find it out because, some would pay stock options, some didn't. Some would use frequent flyer mileage bonuses, some didn't. It all sounded the same until it's really about trust and a set of principles that earns trust. What are those principles? Number one, they play to win-win. The best example I can give you that is Harley Davidson. When Harley decided they were, 2 years ago, they were growing so fast they needed a new plant. They were very strong, and their unions were very weak. So they could have crushed the union and, like many companies, gone to a right-to-work state. But they didn't. The CEO, Rich Tierlink and Jeff Bluestein at the time, said to the unions, look, we're not satisfied with our partnership today. We'd like to improve that. And if you'll work on it, we'd like you to get involved in picking the new plant. That's what they did. They went to Kansas City, which is a union state, Union City. The 2 union presidents sit in the same office with the plant manager, and Harley has improved productivity. Kansas City is the highest level of productivity in the system. Why did they do that? Because when they thought about it, anytime you've got a partnership, it's got to be mutually beneficial at Harley Davidson. That's what they live by. Win-win is the only solution that they would accept. Harley Davidson stock, I'll show you later if we have time, has performed over the last 15 years about like Home Depot, Microsoft, and they're in the top handful of stock performance companies over the last 15 years in the nation, bar none. And yet, how do they do it? Read their annual report. I did, because I wasn't thinking this is a loyalty company. Does loyalty come to mind when Harley, these tough guys, and virtue? No. But they say we have the most loyal customers in the world. I'm from the Midwest. I like modesty. And so I went and I asked, how can you say that? Do you measure retention rates? He said, well, Fred, in our business, we have higher standards. We actually measure the number of riders who have our brand tattooed on some part of their body.
Fred Reichheld, quantifying the benefits of loyalty. The founder of Bain & Company's loyalty practice, helping clients achieve superior results through improvements in customer, employee, and investor loyalty. His first book, The Loyalty Effect, uncovers the hidden economics of loyalty, the real drivers of growth, profits, and lasting value.
I wrote this book on loyalty, spent 2 years doing this. It came out in March of 1996. The headline in the Wall Street Journal, loyalty is dead, dead, dead. Nice timing for a book. Well, it gets better because it was an instant bestseller on the Business Week list, which is shocking to me. But then I discover the bookstores are stocking it in the fiction section because it says business loyalty. Keep it simple. Number 3. What do I mean by that? More than anything else, it's breaking things into small teams. And I know all of you think you have small teams. I'd like to challenge you. Go measure, get the facts. Track the size team that you've had, number of supervisors per employee over the last 10 or 15 years, and see if it hasn't drifted up. Because most high-growth, successful companies, it's done exactly that. Loyalty leaders have found ways to combat that. And you know why. Because your best people who build great, successful organizations, They don't want to give away their people and get broken into smaller units. Those people they hired and trained, they don't want to lose power. But Southwest Airlines, the loyalty leader, has 10 employees per supervisor. The industry has 20. Enterprise has 8 employees per branch. The competition has 3 or 4 times that. Now, wouldn't you think having all those supervisors is expensive, so your cost position would go up? That's what accounting actually makes it look like. But these firms have demonstrated, I mean, Southwest, you know, is the low-cost competitor. Enterprise is by far the low-cost competitor. They've found that small teams, although they look more expensive on a pro forma from an accountant, they're way more productive because on a small team, people know they count. They can't shirk. There's accountability. You can have trust when it's a small team. I think loyalty comes naturally in small teams.
Fred Reichheld. He put loyalty economics on the map. The New York Times. Fred's extensive research is featured in leading publications around the world. A prolific writer, he has produced 6 articles for the Harvard Business Review. His most recent book, Loyalty Rules, is a practical guide for taking the high road in business, providing tools for implementing the timeless principles of loyalty in a volatile economy.
State Farm loses 2.5% of their customers every year. 1% of those die, a desperate form of defection, which I'll treat in my next book. But, 1.5% voluntary defections. How do they do it? Well, it's simple. They give outstanding value. It's not frequent flyer miles and all this shtick. I mean, sometimes that's a helpful tool, but companies get high loyalty because they give outstanding value. People aren't idiots. Now, that's a lot of value. How do they afford to, because, you're generous with your value to your customer, you must be really sticking it to your agents. No, State Farm has the kind of loyalty of their agents that Chick-fil-A has their store operators. In fact, it's better. They also earn more than doctors and lawyers. The average State Farm agent, I suspect, makes a lot more than the average person in this room, who I think of as a very well-compensated group. I have case team members who always would like to leave and work for State Farm when they find how successful they are financially. But how do they do that? How can a mutual give that kind of value to customers and to the agents? The agents, just to give you a sense, they measure this stuff at State Farm. They don't just talk it. State Farm, of all the new agents they appoint, 93% are still with them 5 years later. You know what it's like for the competition? 30% are still with them 5 years later. 93%, 30. It's astonishing. Enterprise is bigger. They shot by Hertz and Avis 4,000 branches around the world now, a fleet of over 500,000 automobiles, one of the largest private fleets in the world, and a private company. I have no idea what the Taylor family is worth. Some 10 billion, 15 billion, 5 billion, some huge number. But they don't act that way because they keep growing a great success story. I went to meet them, and I asked them, does loyalty have anything to do with this? They said, it's everything. Our whole philosophy is based on this simple idea. If you don't treat customers so well they come back for more, you'll never grow a good business. And with our employees, unless we treat them like partners and let them share in the upside that they create by making customers come back for more, they won't stick around. So, loyalty is everything. Do you measure it? Yeah. Do you run your business on that basis? Do you price below the competition? Do you have low cost? Absolutely. You guys know they're got a good cost advantage. And yet their people earn a good salary. I don't know how many of you know this, but it's like Chick-fil-A squared. Andy Taylor keeps a list of people that are earning over $250,000 a year, and it's a big list, and he's very proud of it because his whole idea in life is to get partners to achieve more than they ever could have.
Fred Reichheld, Loyalty Rules. From online startups to established institutions, he shares his research with companies and organizations all over the world. To build lasting success, leaders must understand and measure loyalty just as carefully as profits.
At Bain, we are nutty about measuring results. I've been watching the doors here. We have had very close to 0 defections, and I really appreciate your loyalty through this presentation. Thank you.